continue to get more and more images of the destruction left in Southern California from those wildfires. Thanks for joining us here on AccuWeather Weekend. I'm Anna Azallion.
And I'm Melissa Constanzer. I think a lot of people think those are images we can't see in the U.S. It looks like it's a war-ridden area, unfortunately, and that's Los Angeles, one of the most major cities in the country, of course, and really the most populated county in the country, dealing with all the problems from these several wildfires that are going on.
Yeah, just all of the destruction. I mean, entire neighborhoods destroyed, and the fires are still burning, unfortunately. That is something that we're watching this weekend, but taking a look at radar and satellite, we also have some snow to talk about.
Yeah, the storm system on the move, creating that quick hit of 1, 3, maybe a little more inches of snow. It's not a ton, especially for the snow belts, but it's a welcome thing because some spots we've been pretty sparse on the snow as of recently.
Yeah, and you can't really see it on radar yet. A little bit of rain showing up, but we'll start to see a system form in the Gulf that'll bring some rain to the southeast today as well.
Places like Houston could see a stray shower for the day. Temperatures there only in the mid-50s for some of the fires that are nearby your neighborhood, or potentially being concerned about new fires starting. It's all a big risk. A lot of impacts here around the greater Los Angeles area. And that's why if you coming in this morning, so we have seen some containment go up on that. Currently, though, we still have a bit of a Santa Ana wind event. You can see that in Santa Ana, those winds already at 15 miles per hour. So it's been a bit blustery through some of the mountains in the canyonous areas, especially the Santa Ana mountains, and then also off of the San Bernardino mountains. That's where those winds have been at least most prominent in some of the canyon regions. As we head through today, though, Los Angeles, 68 for that high. We still have some of those smoky sky concerns and the haze, and of course, last Tuesday. However, the position of this low will be a little bit different, and the high and low are not quite as strong, so those winds won't be quite as intense, but we will see that potential for more of an easterly flow. It's going to be kind of a Santa Ana wind event, but like I said, more of an easterly wind component to it, most likely, depending on how far north or south that low sets up. You can see that here as we take you through future winds. We'll start off later on this afternoon. New research is showing wildfires on the West Coast are not only getting bigger, but faster as well. As we take a look across the southern U.S., things are fairly quiet out there as we head through today. Notice, though, there are some showers right towards the Gulf Coast, so will we stay? All of that moisture does push its way on east, so we are looking at a little bit of rain. How extensive it becomes off towards the north is still questionable at this point in time because we have so much cold, dry air on the northern side of things. So your Monday lays out with temp of rainfall, but it's at least enough to keep the clouds and maybe some drizzle in place. Breaks out into a little bit more intense rain across Louisiana as we head through this evening, and then overnight tonight, that's when it slides its way east. This is where we have some heavier rain tomorrow morning. And speaking of ridges, we have our share of them around the Great Lakes region. Recently, though, we have finally seen those water temps start to go down. Just look at the difference between the end of November to the beginning through January. What does that mean? Well, as we get these cold shots of air diving in over what is still comparatively warm lake waters, it's going to kick off lake effect snow. And for January standards, we are looking at a more significant event coming through just because, again, those lake waters are so comparatively warm for January standards. That's why we could pick across the greater Los Angeles area. And by the way, the ports there, kind of look out over the sea. You can see all the smoke that's been filling the skies as it's come from, especially that Palisades. Saturday for firefighters, the challenge has been with the current weak Santa Ana winds in place. We are talking about a few issues maybe for some of those firefighters. The good news is kind of reminiscent of what happened last week. And I was just talking to forecasters about this. They are now amping up the threat of this wind threat as we go through Monday and Tuesday, because it is going to be very strong low, and it is going to try to pull in those very strong winds too. So we're going to see hopefully not as bad winds, but it could come very close to what we were talking about as we went through last week, which kicked off a lot of these fires. So our AccuWeather local storm max I just heard is going up to 100 for this one as we get those easterly winds. It'll depend on exactly where that low sets up offshore.
Thanks for sticking with us here on AccuWeather Weekend. Let's go ahead and talk about what is in store for the next couple of days. Cold. That is the theme here. So taking a look at our map, everywhere highlighted in blue here is going to be seeing temperatures 10 to 20 degrees below historical averages. Monday through Wednesday. So starting tomorrow, we're going to see that dip, and this goes, as far south as around Nashville, Atlanta. So some of these southern states that you just had that snowstorm, you just had the cold, you're still going to be dealing with it a little bit here. Taking a look at AccuWeather as well, things get a little bit better. We don't see that, lighter purple. That's the 20 to 10 below zero. We see more of us in that blue, feels like 0 to 10 range. So moving in the right direction, but still it is going to be cold. So be prepared to bundle up and dress appropriately if you have to be outside, even for, shorter periods of time in this kind of cold. Now, with cold, yeah, some great advice there. Now, let's talk about the forecast for the next couple of days for the southeast, because we are not talking about a snowstorm anymore. Actually, taking a look at future radar, we're talking about rain once again. Now, as we see this move in from the Gulf of New Orleans, you're going to be kind of the first ones to be dealing with this rain, and the heaviest rain is really going to come in the overnight hours. And you can see this is not anything too widespread. Just today, Nashville also trending a few degrees cooler than average. Now, let's talk about the next couple of days, because we're going to see